Everything you desire is waiting for you to claim it. There's no creating involved, only invention through imagination and building through action. You are at the center of all your desires, dreams, and achievements. Welcome to Designing Your Life Today, the podcast that's all about your success, achieving your goals, building wealth through your business, and building your most passionate, powerful, magnificent life. Discover ways to use your purpose to connect you to serving others and living your dreams. I am Pat Council, and I know you are built by design to win. And it all begins with knowing how to tap into your success energy. Let's get on the path of discovery, decisive action, development, and unwavering dedication to your life's calling. It's time to embark on a transformative journey where your deepest passions become your most rewarding achievements. Embrace your power to shape your destiny, because this is your moment to do life with power. Hello, Power Up Nation. I'm Pat Council, and let's talk about the power of self-attachment. Now, when you hear that phrase or that word self-attachment, you may think, wow, that sounds a little self-centered, a little conceited, and borderline narcissist. But I'm here to tell you that it is none of the above. Self-attachment is super important when it comes to you building your magnificent life. When you get to have a deeper understanding about who you are, what you desire for your life, at that point, you develop let's say, a lifelong companionship with you. And that's very important because that affects everything you do. That includes your relationship with other people and your relationship to really having enough self-esteem and confidence to get the things that you desire. These are things that I've had to learn along the way. Sometimes when you grow up without your parents, you want to kind of be a people pleaser, which might account for a lot of the actors and actresses that we have today and how much they love it when, we love them and we show our love for them. That's why they're quick to apologize if they say something that's considered by the public to be wrong. Even if they're speaking from their heart, even if they're saying what they truly feel, then they apologize because they don't like it that people don't like them. So with that being said, it is very important that you understand that it is so powerful when you take the time to have this connection with you. The relationship that we have with ourselves, that's one of the single most important relationships that you can develop in your lifetime. And so that makes you your own lifelong companion. So that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a spouse. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't develop other friendships. Narcissist is kind of, a lot of times people think, okay, that's a narcissist because that person is so in love with themselves. That's not it. Narcissists actually hate themselves, and they actually don't like other people, and they have deep-seated fears. So it's not what people think it is. So it is okay to have an attachment to yourself. That doesn't mean that you exclude other people. That's not what this is about. This is about how you develop into a confident person, as I said, and how you strengthen your self-esteem. This kind of also determines if you value you and if you allow other people to devalue you. And sometimes we go through things in life where that happens. But the beautiful part is because you have this great relationship with yourself, this great connection with yourself, you will actually know when you're being devalued. You will know when you deserve to be valued. You will feel that, and eventually you will either take the nearest exit from that situation, or you will stand up for yourself, and not in a rude, obnoxious, belligerent way, but you will stand up for yourself with some kind of respect because you respect you, and let that person know that that's unacceptable. So it is important that you take the time to really develop this strong attachment to yourself. Self attachment is so important because it underlies your personal health, your wellness, even your professional development, how you grow in your work, in your business, and the things that you do on a daily basis when you are connecting with other people. Think about this. Have you ever gone to, let's say, right now I can think of the Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, and I have to say it out now because apparently DMV is also the Maryland, Virginia, I guess Delaware area. So, or District of Columbia. There it is. So apparently that's what DMV is now. So that's why I'm saying it out. But you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles, and all of a sudden there's a person there that you encounter, the worker, and they are so rude to you, and snotty and snobby. But because you value you, you will find that to be unacceptable. And you're not going to stand there and argue with the person, but you will, if they speak to you in a, let's say, disrespectful way, you're going to say, you know what? I deserve more respect than that. Or you're going to say something to them. You're not going to settle for them disrespecting you. And then you're going to go and feel bad about yourself all day long or badly. And then you're going to go off and tell, I don't know how many other people, your friends or anybody that you encounter, how you were treated by this person instead of addressing it right then and there. So think about this. Self-attachment, it kind of deals with what I call your personal satisfaction with you, that you are satisfied with you, not satisfied to the point where you just settle and say, well, this is who I am. There's no need for me to grow. There's no need for me to learn anything. But you are satisfied with the fact that you are willing to grow and become your best and go for the best life that you could possibly have. So you are satisfied with that, not satisfied with settling. When we settle, then we don't have that powerful self-attachment. What we have is a kind of an identity that someone else has put on us that's kind of put us in victim mode. And that's not who any of us are designed to be. No one is designed to be a victim. So think about that. And with this self-attachment, this is about how much you actually love you. Again, we're taught if you say, oh, I just love myself, that you're being a narcissist. Well, I just talked about what a true narcissist looks like. And I kind of gave you the basic characteristics. There are many other characteristics, okay, kind of sociopaths, but that's another story. So the thing is that it is okay for you to love yourself. Now, if you have to go around telling everyone else that you love yourself, that's a good, strong indication that you're looking for someone else to approve of you and someone to tell you, oh, that's good that you love yourself. So that's not self-attachment. Self-attachment allows you to have that courage and confidence to just look in the mirror and say, you know what? You're amazing. I love you. You have so many great gifts and talents. And even if you only have what you consider to be one talent or one gift, you take that and you are willing to amplify it to the nth degree and use it so that you can feel excited about what you've done and who you are. So think about these things when it comes to you taking the time to really become attached to you. In other words, become a great companion for yourself. In order for you to be a great companion for yourself, or if you are not a great companion with yourself, it's hard for you to develop strong companionships with others. Now, I have talked to people, like I had a friend once, and actually we're still friends. She just lives far away now. And she would never, ever go to a movie alone. She would never, ever go to dinner alone. And she said, because I think people are looking at me and people are judging me. And the truth of the matter is, when you have strengthened your sense of self, and that's your self-attachment, you strengthen that. You don't care what other people think. It does not bother me to go to the movies alone. It doesn't bother me to go out to dinner alone, to sit in a restaurant and eat alone. I don't really care what the rest of the world is thinking, if they're thinking anything. And then there are times when I want to go out to dinner with a companion. And that's something completely different. Okay. But I don't have to have a companionship in order for me to have a great day. I don't have to be with someone. And there are times when I want to be with someone because it's really nice, but I don't have to always have that, because I can actually go places and have a great time by myself. There have been times, and I haven't been lately, but it is back on my list of things to do this year. But there have been times when I would go to Universal Studios alone. I would spend the entire, I would take a 4-day weekend and I would go to Universal Studios and hang out in Orlando and get in a really nice resort type hotel and just really pamper me. And then I'd go to Universal Studios. I could ride on whatever I wanted to ride. I don't do roller coasters, but I could ride on whatever I wanted to ride. I could see whatever it is I wanted to see. I could participate in whatever it is I wanted to participate in. And I would come back and feel so refreshed, so excited. My creativity was at an all-time high. Because I got that chance to spend time with me. See, this is the beautiful part about self-attachment, making that connection to you, with you, for you. So think about that. When you cultivate this type of relationship, what comes with that also is self-compassion. There are people who will beat themselves up and they'll talk about how awful they are, how wrong they are, or how bad they are, or, oh, I messed up. And they call themselves names like stupid or lazy or whatever. And they do this, and this is not who you are. None of us were meant to be that way. Nobody, God didn't say, you know what? I think when this person is born, I think I'll give them laziness. Think I'll give this one procrastination. Think I'll make this one stupid. So no, none of that happened. As I said, you are built by design to win. Okay. And you were designed by God. So when you stop and think about that, how do you know how amazing you really are if you don't have that strong connection to you? And this is something that I've had to learn, or I've learned over the years or throughout my life, is that, wait a minute, it's okay if I have this connection with me. It helps me to make better decisions. Now, granted, there have been times when I've been through something like really that kind of knocked me off my emotional game, and I didn't make the best decision. But at that point, I regrouped and see, because of the relationship that I have with myself. So I regrouped and decided, you know what, this is not the direction for me, or this is not where I want to go, what I want to do. So I would make that shift. So this is the power of self-attachment. The other thing, that when you have that relationship with yourself, and the beautiful part about the compassion that comes from self-attachment, is that you can allow yourself to make mistakes. You can allow yourself to make poor choices. Some of us were not taught from day one different things about life, or this is how you make certain choices, choose certain mates, and these kinds of things. We were not always taught that way. So life will teach you, or at least take a shot at it, and teach you what you did not learn. Because when you're going down the wrong road, it does not feel good. But if you have no self-compassion, if you have no relationship with you, if you, in your mind, you don't think that you deserve to have the best, which also comes from self-attachment, if you don't have that, then you know what happens? You're so hard on yourself, it becomes difficult to forgive yourself. So you have to have that self-compassion. I always, or I told a friend of mine, and this has been a couple of years ago, and I remember that conversation, and we were talking about people who kind of give up on themselves. And so I remember saying to that person, I said to him, I said, you know what? No matter what happens in my life, the rest of the world might give up on me, but I am never, ever, ever going to give up on me because of the relationship that I have developed with myself over the years. Again, this doesn't mean that you don't connect with others. Doesn't mean you don't have a spouse. Doesn't mean that you don't have friendships. It means you have better friendships. It means you have a stronger connection because you know who you are. And it means that you're softer. As I said, you have more compassion for you, because it's okay to make a mistake. You realize, wait a minute, you know what? This is who I am. I'm in learning mode. I am here to learn and grow while at the same time delivering the gifts and talents that I have. So how do your gifts and talents become better? Well, as you start to have that powerful self-attachment, it's okay. You're fine with practicing. You're fine with making a mistake. You're fine with regrouping and saying, you know what, this is how I can do this better. This is how I can deliver more. This is how I can be more, share more, do more, and yes, have more. So think about that. And you're open to receiving more when you have that kind of attachment to yourself. So you have the compassion. The other thing is curiosity. You become more curious about life. And even if you err or make a mistake on something, you're curious about the mistakes that you've made. You're curious about what would have happened if. You start to question yourself. Not only do you question yourself, you question others as well. In your mind, you're wondering, why am I doing what they told me to do just because they told me to do it? Why am I doing that? And there's nothing wrong with you questioning. You don't always, I am what I call a good student, not just of life, but I've had some great mentors. And they taught me some great things. But that does not mean that throughout I didn't ask questions. I didn't just take it and just run with it. So I did ask questions, and they were happy to answer my questions. And then I made a judgment call as to whether I agreed or disagreed. The more I learned and the stronger connection I had with me, then I felt confident in making a decision that worked best for me. The other thing about the power of self-attachment is, in order for you to have that strong attachment to yourself and be so confident, have the self-esteem, have the self-compassion, be curious about life, is you draw closer to God. You spend time with God, the creator who made you, and you get to learn more about you. And that's the beautiful part. And then you get excited because you go, wow, God, you did a pretty good job. You did this great job of making me. And the errors that have happened in life and the lessons that you've had to learn so that you could become stronger and actually deliver things with clarity and deliver more, you realize that, wait a minute, it's because of what's put in you that allows you to question things, that allows you to second guess, in terms of second guess on the side of getting it right, not second guess on the side of second guessing yourself and saying, well, I'm not good at this. Okay. And putting yourself down, not that. Okay. So think about this. And so as we kind of start to wrap up this month, where I've talked about love in some of the previous episodes this month, this is to me a very clear, powerful kind of love, a self-love that it's so important for you to have. Because the other thing is, when you kind of come into your own, so to speak, and that's a form of self-attachment, you know who you are at that point in time, and you're embracing you, then you also get to kind of participate in the joy of becoming even stronger, even more. Okay, more, you allow yourself to evolve instead of holding yourself back. So this is exciting when you think about this. This is this lifelong relationship that you're going to have. And it's going to be the longest relationship that you've ever had with anyone. That is the relationship that you're going to have with you, or you are a kind of a companion. Because think about it, you hear thoughts and you hear, or you think about, should I do this? Should I not do this? Should I listen? Should I not listen? Are they right? Are they wrong? And you begin to take more responsibility for making the best choice that you can make based on what you know. Does that mean it's always going to be the right choice? No. But is it going to be a choice that you make? Yes. Is it going to position you to be confident enough or adult enough or responsible enough to say, you know what? I made this choice, so I have to live with it. I have to get beyond this because now I've learned a lesson and now I'm ready to soar. So you want to think about all of these things when it comes to you. You're going to go through so many different seasons throughout your life. We all are, as long as we keep living. And the sad part about this, and I've seen this, where people have such a difficult time embracing the fact that they made a mistake, embracing the fact that they made a choice that wasn't the best choice, connecting sometimes with friends or even loved ones or intimate relationships that perhaps did not work out in their favor because in some cases you were not taught what to look for, what to accept, what not to accept. And so we do things that cause us to shy away from the best parts of who we are. But when you can develop that self-attachment, as I said, you'll be compassionate. You'll give yourself a break. You will let things happen and recognize that this is all a part of growth. I don't know why people think that just because we become adults, that means that we're never, ever going to have a mistake or make a mistake or do something we shouldn't have done or make a choice or a decision that we perhaps should not make. They think that. You know, kids do it all the time. And the beautiful part about kids, of course, they're a lot more resilient. They make a mistake, they shake it off, and they've pretty much forgotten it. I can't remember the mistakes I made when I was 5, 6, or 7. All right, maybe I remember one. But the climbing over the fence. And the only reason I remember that is because I have a little scar on my knee that reminds me of that. Okay, that was a mistake, trying to climb a fence, and it was barbed wire at the top. But the thing is that if you think about your life, it doesn't matter how old you're going to get or how old you get in life, you're going to go through different seasons. And yes, you're going to still make poor choices. Sometimes people make choices because, let's say, they watch the news or they listen to someone who actually speaks, very confidently. And I have a phrase when they're wrong. I said they're confidently wrong. And so, but they sound like they know what they're talking about. So what do? Instead of doing our own homework, we take what they say as fact. We run with it. Not only do we run with it, but we spread it. And so think about that. And then we find out, oops, that wasn't the right thing. I made a mistake. That's not true. Okay. So as we start to wrap up, I just want you guys to remember that the one of the greatest loves that you're going to have is that love that you have with yourself. Okay. And the reason why I say it's the love that you're going to have with yourself or for yourself is because the Bible tells us that God is in you. And so we're supposed to love God first. So he's in you. How can you love God first if you can't love the person you see in the mirror? And then you can pass that love on to someone else, okay, and make better connections, stronger connections, okay, and better decisions. Here's the final thing as I wrap up on that. And I thought about this because even if, let's say, hypothetically, you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, but you were loving, you were kind, you did your part. And sometimes we walk away feeling like, feeling stupid or feeling like we made a poor choice or even feeling guilty, or we find it hard to forgive ourselves. And one of the things, I would say to that, I think it's important that when these kinds of things happen, and it doesn't just have to be a relationship, it can be in a business that failed or anything. It's important that you forgive yourself because you want to give yourself credit for the fact that you did the best you could with what you knew. Okay, now, even if you were cruel, you still should forgive yourself. But the point here I'm making is that, but if you were kind and you did the best that you could and that person couldn't receive it, that's not on you. That's on that person. And so you can forgive yourself and move on. Remember, be compassionate. Have that compassion for you. Self-compassion is so important. Self-compassion, self-confidence, self-love. And you know what, growing up, I would hear the preacher say a lot of times, oh, people are so wrapped up in self-esteem, self-confidence, self-love. But you know what? In other words, it sent a message that you weren't supposed to be kind to yourself, but you're supposed to be kind to everyone else outside you. And the beautiful part about me opening up the book and reading the Bible myself, where it says, love your neighbors, you love yourself. And I realized, well, I have to be kind to me. It does start with self. Okay. And when I can start there and I can really do a good job on me, then I bring my best to the table, because if you will not disrespect yourself, you will not disrespect others. So now you understand the power of self-attachment. So as we start to wrap up, I want to suggest that you take the time, take a few minutes, have some quiet time, and jot down some ways that you can treat you better. Jot down some ways that you can have a stronger connection with yourself. Okay, be that meditation, be that prayer, be it all of the above, be it reading scripture so you can understand what God says about you and how you're made. So you can just know who you are and not make excuses. Or you can just simply write down that you're not going to apologize for who you are, how you think, what you desire to be, because you don't have to. I mean, if you're not hurting anybody, be you. Okay. That's how you do life with power. You come from that position of power by being you, by being your most authentic, exciting self. So with that being said, you guys, that's all I have for you on Designing Your Life today. So remember to do life with power, knowing that you are built by design to win.